Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. This is Kev JB, and I'm excited to be with you for another conversation. This is going to be a very interesting one. It's a very long one. It's probably the longest title that I have ever done on a title, on a post, or anything. But this is going to be detailing a lot, and I'm going to be trying to fit it all into one video. So we're going to see how this goes. I want to talk about the personal journey that I am undergoing, my own personal resolution, conviction about hyperconsumerism, moving into productivity, and how this affects the purpose and my resolution for this channel. Before we get into it, make sure that you are hitting the like button, so show your support. Make sure this gets out in the algorithm, or at least more people are able to see what's going on through this particular channel. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you are able to share your thoughts through your comments, and whether on the live stream or in after the replay and things like that. Make sure also that you click the notification bell and hit the subscribe button so that way you are alerted every single time there is a new video that comes out. Thank you all for those who have been supporting all this time. I really do appreciate it. Through all this channel's ups and downs and changes, there have been a whole lot of things that have been going on. Again, I still have some people that have been here through and through showing their support. I want to say thank you very much for everything that you have been doing up to this point to show your love and support. I really appreciate it. As you can see, by the way, I do not have my usual satin cap on. I decided to take a break from that, but I will have a video discussing, why I've made that shift with wearing it more often. But that's not the topic for today. Right now, I want to talk about, hyperconsumerism, especially as an American, especially with the de-dollarization that is happening right in front of our faces, the economic downturn that is looking more and more like a depression, and the shift that has been occurring with me thinking about consuming less and really being more proactive about productivity. Now, for quite some time, I have been listening to a lot of videos that have been detailing a lot of economic downturns. I've been watching um, channels like the Economic Ninja, Ryan Yates, CEO Drive Her, Kimberly Bradley. Shout out to her, for all the stuff that's been going on over there. I've been a part of that particular channel for 2 years interactively. So shout out to her. And a lot of people who are showing things that are going on within in the economy in ways that the Black community specifically has not been detailing. Because of all the things that are just going on, not only within the community, but also things that are going on entertainment wise, celebrity speaking, and all that type of stuff. There's not really a whole lot that has been um, shown in the Black community about what exactly has been going on with the economy. And so I've been going to other spaces trying to figure out, what it is that's going on, and how gaining this insight from these channels and from these different communities and on these channels has been really changing my thoughts about, being more proactive, about being productive, about how to um, produce more instead of really focusing a lot on trying to consume everything from food to information, to even the people that I interact with from time to time, and even not just simply from my own personal standpoint, but from other people. There's a lot of consumption that is going on, and social media has really made it to where not only is hyper consumerism is just from the social media standpoint, from social gatherings and things like that, but also how we interact with one another and how we end up no, just being in a state of constantly consuming everything from our electricity, to the stuff, the clothes that we buy, the stuff that we may not even need, but we buy them anyway, or the stuff that we are watching on TV, the stuff that we are watching on YouTube, the stuff that we are constantly looking to, for constant motivational boost or constant buzz. You know, however it may turn out to be, we're constantly in consumption. And I think this is specifically true for Americans in particular. I think there's even more true when it comes to things that pertain to the Black community. Everything that can be consumed, we are definitely consuming that from our oils and gas price and gas production. We're seeing that there's going to be a downturn with that, with this upcoming financial downturn as well. So that means that gas is going to go up and up as time goes on. Like there's just a whole lot. It's just I I would probably have to have another topic discussing that, but that's neither here nor there. I want to stay focused on this particular topic of transitioning from hyperconsumerism. What really got me into this, honestly, was really taking the time, not necessarily when it came to food or a lot of the resources that we use. Honestly, what got me into it more was really taking the time to look at my social media, how often that I consume rather than actually produce much of anything, which is why recently I've been taking some time away because I was concerned about what I wanted to put on, what exactly I want to do outside of YouTube and other places as well. And I've been very, very concerned about how that would I produce, how would that come across, why would I do it, and things like that. And I've been so focused on figuring out what it is I want to do as far as I want to create and put out there, and what it is I want to do for the future, especially the near future, that I wasn't really paying attention to how I consume. I remember discussing before in my channel. I think that video was gone now, but I remember I was discussing like on my fast and I had to recognize how much like I consume whenever I'm stressed out, whenever I have things going on in my own personal life, or just because I just enjoy like food, or enjoy certain activities, or enjoy certain things online. I started to pay attention to how much I would consume in specifically triggered moments, and how things are kind of wired for us to constantly be in consumption and constantly keep us triggered, constantly keep us sick, constantly keep us in a state of dependency, so that we're consuming things more often than not. And for me personally, when I go to like certain sectors on YouTube, I recognize how that fear is used a lot of either fear or um, kind of like being put into like dangerous positions in the mindset um, grants us this opportunity, or puts us in a state where we're constantly in consumption, trying to figure out what's going to happen, what more is going to be done. Entertainment is another form in which things are constant, in which we're constantly consuming things, and just not being able to produce in the way that you need to, because there's things that are constantly supplied for you, and things are being done to where there is a constant reward for um, being in consumption of those things. That's part of hyperconsumption, just for me and how it relates to me personally. Hello, Starry Eyed. Good seeing you. Good evening now. Good evening from on this side. I don't know where you are in the United States, but good evening to you. So um I thought about that, but then what really did it was social media, because there's people that I follow who are constantly putting out some sort of content. Um, and oh, cool, you discussed this topic. That's great. East Coast. So you're the East Coast with me. Shout out to you. Good evening. But what really decided this for me was watching how often that I consume people who are constantly producing something, whether it's content, whether it's something for business, whether it's something that is um, that they do with their personal lives or whatever. I recognize that I need to start putting myself in the position more where I want to start producing. Even if I don't know how exactly, as long as I put myself on the journey of doing that, I can figure that out in due time. And I want to say this to somebody who may be considering whether or not you want to do a YouTube channel, or you want to be more proactive with your social media platform, or you want to be more proactive in things outside of social media. Like let's say you want to do stuff in the real world. Let's say you want to do something that is related to something with work or business, or something that you're really passionate about. Even if you don't know how you want to do it, make sure that you put yourself in a position where you start. because as long as you're starting, you can have an understanding of where it is that you want to go. But if you never put yourself out there, you'll never know what you need to do to start being productive. And you'll always be passive. And typically, passive people are always consuming what other people are producing while waiting for their turn, more than likely waiting for their turn of when are they going to be able to make something, how are they going to be able to do it, and things like that. You have to be proactive about how you want to live the life that you want to live and how you want to produce things in the way that you want to produce things and how you want to live and things like that. So what I started to do, to really start putting myself in the mindset of productivity, of building and really investing into something, I went to a area where there are parcels of land for like commercial areas, like it's like nearby my neighborhood. So in that particular area there's really like there's a pharmacy and a chiropractic area that is connected together, and then like on the farther side there is an optician. I think it's optician, but people who are like for the optics for the eyes, that are in that particular area. So those are businesses that hang around there. But I think particularly when it comes to like the medical field. But everything else is just open land, open parcels, waiting for somebody to come in and build something. And so earlier today, um I parked my car in the parking lot and I was just walking around areas where there was just open land. Now, in my mind, I was trying to imagine what could be in those spots. Right now, I couldn't. It wasn't much that I could imagine. Right at that moment, all I could see was just the land. My imagination wasn't exactly going like wild in that moment, but I just wanted to keep myself in the position to where there was constant open land, because the thing about land is that it represents wealth. It represents wealth from the standpoint of what's on it and also what's in it. What's on it from the standpoint of buildings such as properties, houses, um, um, certain things like that, right? Like the things that you want to put on it, so that way that you have real estate and you want to invest into that property, so that way that you can grow it more, and you can make that particular investment. But also what's in it. So like precious metals, oils, and things of that nature, right? Like I can go like all the stuff you ran, like all the stuff that United States pretty much United States, European countries, other countries go into, like countries like Africa, to pull out those particular resources, to use for their benefit. There is a similar thing that goes on even within our land. There's still stuff that could be here that we're not even utilizing or possibly thinking about, because we're so busy looking at other places and not necessarily looking at what opportunities and possibilities are in the area that we are in. And I thought about it from the standpoint of not just simply, from the outside land where I was walking around where these parcels were, but also I was thinking about myself, because again, as human beings, we are a part of the earth. We're a part of the land, and there are parallels to us as human beings and lands, such as wealth and treasures, and what could grow into an investment and things like that. That's usually intellectual property, right? What exactly is that I could be utilizing and building up for myself, inside for myself, that could be used in as a way to being productive and producing more. And so um, it led me to start thinking about what I want this channel to be about, and what exactly do I want people who are watching me and following me, whether it's from my shorts or from my live streams, what could they possibly be gaining from it? Originally, it was something that I could say I was running from. It was something I didn't want to really deal with, because with a lot of things that go on into these social media streets, in particular with YouTube, particularly dealing with like sectors with involving Black community and things like that, it's very, very easy to get discouraged, because it makes it seem as if people really don't want um, the solutions that you're offering, or maybe they may not like the style in which you're doing things, or maybe there is what you're doing that could be lackluster in the moment, that you may have to build upon and work towards in a way that you can get to that. And so I was really discouraged. I really was saying I didn't want to do it, but I felt led back into wanting to do live streams and doing videos and um, wanted to just simply produce something to get started with something. I was led back into it, and I wanted this YouTube channel to kind of be the starting point of what it is that I want to produce toward the future. I love personal development. I love watching people grow. I love watching myself grow along a consistent journey. There are certain activities that I do that involve me connecting with people, so that way that they're able to grow and become better versions of themselves day by day, or by session and things like that. I don't know exactly if that's going to be something that I do here. You may see that happening more and more as we have this conversation. But for me, the resolution I want to have with this channel is that I want to showcase growth, whether it's my own growth or whether it's contributing to the growth of people who come to this platform. You're going to start seeing that, and that's going to be something that I am going to produce as I make the choice to start consuming less and producing more, and really trying to invest more into the platform, grow more as far as, how I'm able to make more outreach through this particular platform. You're going to start seeing that. You're going to start seeing how that is um, showcased, and hopefully that you grow along the journey as well. A lot of stuff that I have been learning with the economic situation, along with things that I've gained, spiritual insight intuitively, and trying to prepare for the future. I have an understanding that now more than ever, consuming less and producing more is the path that we are going to have to start doing in one way or another. For a lot of us who are used to being nothing but consumers, um, what I can say is this: if you aren't making plans to start producing something of value or something that needs to be seen, you are going to have there's a good possibility you're going to have a very hard time with what's going to be coming up ahead with this with how the depression is going to be coming about, because it is happening. It's happening right in front of our faces. We're getting news every single day, despite the fact of what officials are maybe saying, what we may see as the official people. We are seeing how things are changing and downturning. So in order for us to really start combating that, we're going to have to start being more of a producing people. Now, I know that everybody gonna hear that, everybody's not gonna pay attention. I'm not worried about those type of people. There was a time in which I once believed that if we start talking about it more often, if we start thinking about it more often, we start making people more aware, that they would start doing it. Listen, people have their own minds, they have their own experiences. Everybody's not going to fall with everything that you do. And you're going to be wasting a whole lot of time, energy, a whole lot of resources, a whole lot of valuable, precious um, things that you could be doing to better yourself, and instead of trying to reach back and trying to reach people who making it very clear that they don't want to be reached. There are some people who are perfectly fine with where they are. There's some people who probably want to be consumers, or maybe they feel as if they can do one or the other. Maybe they can start, they can still consume a whole lot and still be able to be productive. My personal experience, there comes a time when you're going to have to start choosing one or the other. You're going to have to, if you're either going to either be a primarily a consumer, or you're going to be primarily a producer. And whatever is your priority is what's going to stand out more with whatever it is that you're doing. So for me, I want to focus more on productivity, being able to produce something of value, something that is of gain for people, while learning to consume less, consume what I need, consume something that is going to be, the necessities that I have to have for life, while being able to produce more of value in all areas of health, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, environmentally, spiritually, even financially. I do not want to be in an environment where um, my only choice of producing is through the standpoint of some form of entanglement or enslavement that is being created by systems that require us to be masters of consumers in order for us to produce. If that makes sense. Um, my main focus is to see how can I become better with um, seeing how I can gain more traction with creating more ways, creating more for myself, creating more for the people that matter to me, and creating more for what I want to produce in the future. Um, that's why consumption, especially hyperconsumption, is really bad. There's nothing wrong with consuming, but the problem with hyperconsumption is that um, it creates ways for degeneracy. It creates ways for certain vices to either form or to be perpetuated because there is always somebody that's coming along to give you everything that you need. People who don't really have to work hard to produce anything and are constantly consumers. These are the people that we see that are jerks. These are the people who are seen that are very entitled because they've never really had to amount much to anything. This is part of the reason why people can't stand nepo babies, right? Because nepo babies are given opportunities based on what their parents have done and what they produce without really having to do much of anything because everything is always handed to them. Hyperconsumption is a problem, and we have to start figuring out how to create more of a balance to where we consume less but produce more, so that way people are able to gain something valuable in their life. You're going to be seeing that a whole lot more in this particular channel. Not sure how everything is going to come together, but trust me, you will see that, and that's going to be the particular journey that you see with Kev JB. So let me just take the time to look at the comments. I've been in a similar journey. The funny thing is, I've been focusing on productive consumption. I still have fun, but I invest in things that will benefit me. And I'm working on not over consuming in all facets of life. Yeah, that should be the goal. There should always be a sense of balance. I think even the idea of productive consumption, consuming things that you know that is going to bring you value towards your health, especially like the six areas of health, your physical life, your mental health, your emotional health, your social health, the environment that you have, the sexual health. I'm sorry, the spiritual health. I don't know why sexual just came up there, but I think even sexual health is an important role there. So we can just add that in there. Your financial health, the things that require you to be holistic in your well-being, those are the things that you should consume. However, at the same time, we have to start figuring out how we're going to be able to use these things to help us produce more. The problem that we have with hyperconsumption is that it has made us consume to the point where we are lazy, that we're not actually producing much of anything. Part of what's going on with the United States and why the de-dollarization thing has become such the way that it is because the United States is used to consuming things from other countries, consuming things um, from um, from other entities and being able to go out and get cheap labor so that way that they can consume from these particular nations. Meanwhile, we have had the trickle down effect to where, everything comes to us easily. Everything has been able to be handed down to us, even if it's toxic, even if it's not for our well being, even if it hurts us and is giving us diseases. We are able to consume these things because that's how we've been trained and conditioned to be. And so, for those of you who are really taking the time to work on your productivity, work on gaining more, this is the perfect opportunity to start doing that because as these economic situations um, start to occur more and more, you are really going to need to know how to produce, not to simply be productive, but you're going to need to know how to produce. It is very vital. Literally, it's vital that we really start learning how to produce. If you are somebody who is kind of like an economic enthusiast, I'm not necessarily an economic enthusiast, but I want to follow like the economic trends. Make sure that you're following people who are showing you what is going on with these banking institutions. We're seeing them collapse. We're seeing them we're starting to see how that has an effect on the economy. You know, the whole thing with the war in Ukraine, how this constant funding of the war, you know, sending money over there, which is really laundering, is affecting us here in the United States. The situation with the petroleum, with the gas and the oil. You know, earlier this year, you know, Biden had, you know, shut off that with the Keystone Oil, the pipeline. And now here we are in this situation where we're running out of oil, and you're going to see more of the cost of oil and gas go up. Our food. I know that, you know, that China is like the number two with wheat. I know with India they're ranked high when it comes to rice. A lot of these people are shutting their doors, you all, when it comes to the food. Um, as far as the ships and stuff being, some of the ships are being stranded, and they're not being able to be sent over to us. It is now more important than ever to know how to produce so that way that you are able to sustain yourself. It's very important. All right. um Star, I said, I'm happy to be productive, not as a slave to any system. Yes, that's good. That's very, very key, because that is what they're trying to do, not only just simply the Black people, but the American public as a whole. They are really trying to um, keep us keep us as consumers, because as long as we are consumers, we are able to follow through with whatever is in place that government could be having in store for us, um, further down the line as things continue to worsen. All right. And let me just say this really quickly before I go, and I'm already at 27 minutes, but let's just go in. But let me just say this really quickly. I don't fault the American people as a whole for being consumers. I know that there are a lot of people who like to make comparisons with other nations and how they have managed to build up their people. And a lot of people who come over here with that type of mentality, you know, there's a whole lot of comparison with that. But um, I'm not somebody who thinks that that is the fault of the people. I think that there is a conditioning that has been there, and that we are responsible for how we switch over our conditioning to become better. If we need to learn from these people who are coming in from other nations, so that way that we can know how to be better and be more self-sustaining, that's one thing. But to blame people for something that they have no, for most people they haven't really had any part in, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. Responsibility, there's a whole lot more, productively speaking, as opposed to blame. And so that's part of the reason why accountability is there. Accountability is there so that people can be responsible, not to shift blame. That's a topic for a whole nother day, for a whole nother particular conversation. But I'm not going to get into that. Um, Responsibility is more productive than blame, and so we want to make sure that we want to keep people accountable for the sake of their growth, and to make sure that they are keeping their awareness, but not necessarily to um, condemn people, because condemning people always finds a way to work against efforts as opposed to helpful to efforts. Um, so that's just that. That's what you're going to be seeing on this channel, you guys. You're going to be seeing me. You're going to be seeing me more. As long as I can try to get myself up here. Sometimes I'm very shy, and I don't always want to be up on here. But I'm going to do it because I want to start being in the mindset of producer. I'm going to create stuff. I'm definitely creating live. I'll be creating some shorts. I'll try to create more ideas for content. So we'll have some conversations, some interesting dialogues, so we're able to grow and be able to be more effective with your productivity. And we'll be working together to see how we can um just do more. I think that's just another thing. We just need to do more. We need to put ourselves out there, and see what comes out of it. All right. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, if you like this, make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you are able to leave your comments. Again, whether you're alive, We're going to be closing out here, so you can put your comments into the replay section. And if you're new here and you've never been here before, you're interested to see what this what this channel is about. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you hit subscribe and click the notification bell so that way that you are alerted every time there is a new video that comes forth from this channel. You'll be able to see it on your newsfeed. All right. So this concludes our video for today. Thank you, Starry Eye. I really appreciate that. We're going to be having some interesting topics here as well. That's going to be done for content. I wanted I did a video using Mahalia Jackson to describe the de-dollarization effect and um, how that is used to uh, use for like community efforts and all that type of stuff. You'll be able to find that there. Um, so there's gonna be more topics that are gonna be similar to that, but I want to use them in a way for you guys to think differently about what it is you have, and how these systems are in place to keep you in perpetual mental enslavement, so that way that you can break yourself out of them. All right, that's going to be the goal for this channel. That's going to be the things I'm going to be producing, along with possibly some other stuff that's related to that. All right, so I'm out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day. Enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Enjoy. See you later.